Hello and welcome to the show. I'm Chris Valenti. We have a lot to talk about today. There's a new statue of Donald Trump and his best friend Jeffrey Epstein in the fucking Capitol. Yes, this is a real statue that has been put up in the Capitol. No, it wasn't put up by Donald Trump. It was clearly put up by some anonymous people. How the fuck do you even get one of those up? How do you put one of those up without somebody noticing, right? Bothers me. We have more to cover too. We also have, there was a shooting at one of the Nazi facilities, the ICE facilities. Unfortunately, they were shooting at the detainees. The shooter was shooting at the detainees, which goes to show that there are people out there who see what ICE is doing and they think it's not enough, which, that is fucking insane. By the grace of God, the shooter blew his fucking head off, so we don't have to worry about that monster anymore. Kamala Harris came out and called Donald Trump a communist dictator, which is hilarious because you're almost there, Kamala, because he's a capitalist and this nation is capitalist and he is a product of capitalism. So like, yes, you're right, sweet girl, you're right. He is a dictator, but he's not a fucking communist. And what that is her throwing leftists under the bus. She's going, Donald Trump is a dictator. He's a real bad guy. But communism and socialism is also bad. She's literally throwing shade at Zohran Mamdani, despite the fact that Zohran isn't even a fucking communist. But what she's trying to do is say, guys, fascism is bad, but so is communism. No one is fucking saying that we should embrace communism other than communists. No one is saying that on the left. There's no one even in the Democratic leadership is calling Trump a fucking fascist because all of them lost their fucking balls as soon as they got their AIPAC check. Unbelievable. So yeah, we got footage of that. What else? We got Trump did this crazy 180 and kind of is based as fuck right now when it comes to Russia and Ukraine. As you know, Putin is not Putin. Trump has been like, no, Ukraine started this war. Ukraine can't win this war. Oh, you're so weak. Why didn't you say thank you? Oh, we're gonna make a deal with Putin. Something happened. He had a meeting with Volodymyr Zelensky, and now he's saying, you should shoot down any Russians in your airspace, talking to NATO. And he's saying, Ukraine can win this war. Russia's weak. I would have won that war in a week. And I think, here's my theory, is that Volodymyr Zelensky finally bit the bullet and accepted the reality, which is that if you want Donald Trump's help, you have to fucking cradle his balls and throat his shaft. And he probably told him, Mr. President, President Dolan, you are so big, so strong, so brave. You and your nation, you could have taken over Ukraine in 7 days. And look at Russia. They've been attacking for 3 years. And what do they have to show for it, Dolan? They have nothing. And what have they lost? They have lost everything. We can win this war, Dolan, only with you and your help because you are big and strong and sexy. And I genuinely think that is like what he fucking did. I think that's what he fucking did. I think that's how he's getting his fucking help. So yeah, Trump does his 180 on helping Russia. Also, we're going to cover at the United Nations meeting, Trump's escalator stopped working because his videographer went ahead of him to get a good shot and ended up triggering a safety. So Trump's escalator didn't work while he was on the way up, and then his teleprompter didn't work because his White House staffers are fucking idiots. And Fox News said, we should bomb the UN. We should gas the UN. Because of that. I'm not kidding. Now remember, we've talked about this a million times before. Fox News is a terrorist organization. People like Brian Kilmeade, he's a terrorist. Brian Kilmeade is directly responsible for a mass shooting at a homeless camp. He said on the air, he said, why don't we just go around killing homeless people? Why don't we just start fucking killing them? And then later that day, somebody grabbed their gun, went to a homeless camp, and shot 8 people. So Fox News, terrorist organization. Brian Kilmeade, terrorist. I forgot the name of this fucking weasel, but you probably know him. What the fuck is his name? Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters is a domestic terrorist. So, like, that's what we're dealing with. Jesse Waters is a domestic terrorist. And then Trump crashes out that Jimmy Kimmel got his job back because it's just proof that Trump is not the Fuhrer that he thinks he is. Trump claims Tylenol causes autism. And other than that, I think that's all we have to cover. So why don't we just, like, dive right in. That was a long intro. Hi, I'm Chris Valenti. Welcome to the Valenti VOD. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. It costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. And remember, this is real independent media. I have no funding. I have no advertisers. I've never had a conversation with a billionaire or a government. So, if you do want to help me out financially, you just know that every dollar you send me will go into Real independent media, funding this operation, getting me a new keyboard, getting me a new laptop, new camera so that this can grow. You can become a member. You can become a patron. You can buy merch. You can use the discount code for Ground News. You can donate to the channel. There's many different ways. Thank you so much for 103,000 subs. I love you all, but regardless, let's just dive right into some of the funny shit. We're going to start off with this. So this is from the Washington Post. Statue of Trump and Epstein holding hands placed on the National Mall. The work is the latest installation in Washington by an anonymous group of artists critical of the president. Part of me thinks this is a fucking Banksy, you know what I'm saying? A spray-painted bronze... Oh, by the way, I guarantee you, come back when I'm right, that Trump is going to say that we need to find out whoever these artists are because they're terrorists. They're domestic terrorists. I guarantee you he's going to try and arrest whoever these artists are for literally practicing their First Amendment rights. He's going to say they trespassed and it's vandalism and all that, but he is going to try and find out who these people are and arrest them. A spray-painted bronze statue titled Best Friends Forever that depicts President Trump and disgraced financier Jeffrey Epstein. Let me rephrase this. That depicts the Fuhrer and child rapist Jeffrey Epstein holding hands was placed on the National Mall in front of the U.S. Capitol early Tuesday morning. The work is the latest in a series of politically charged sculptures critical of the president that have been placed in Washington and elsewhere by an anonymous group. The plaque at the base of the installation reads, "We celebrate the long-lasting bond between the Fuhrer, Donald J. Trump, and his closest friend, Jeffrey Epstein." I added Fuhrer. They called him the president. The relationship between the Fuhrer and Epstein, a convicted sex offender who was killed in jail in 2019, has come into sharper focus this year as both supporters and critics of the regime have called for the full release of files related to Epstein. So we have also more pictures of it. Here on the back, look at this. It says, "In honor of Friendship Month." The little fucking heart hand symbol. It's golden. It's absolutely golden. Let's read this quote. District resident Alexander Howard, 48, said, "This epitomizes exactly how our First Amendment continues to uphold in practice, not just in principle. We're still allowed to do the most American thing, poke fun at the most powerful people in the world, including the elected leaders and oligarchs who control us or who govern us." You actually are wrong. You do not have that right anymore. The First Amendment has been abolished. You can no longer criticize the president. Let me see if I can get this. Attorney General Pam Bondi says hate speech is illegal. So these free speech warriors, the ones who have been screaming for the past 8 years about free speech, I love free speech. Well, now they're advocating to make hate speech illegal, which is antithetical to the First Amendment. And my example of that is the N-word, right? You can say the N-word. You're not going to go to jail for saying the N-word. What you will feel are social consequences. You'll be ostracized. You'll lose your job. People will take videos of it and pump it out. You know what I mean? That's the consequences for hate speech. You can't throw people in jail for hate speech, and they're now trying to say that criticizing the president is hate speech. I want you to check this out.
There's free speech, and then there's hate speech.
This is Pam Bondi on Herr Goebbels, Stephen Miller has a wife named Katie Miller. She's on her podcast right now. And by the way, Katie Miller is a disgusting fucking $5 slut. But let's watch.
And there is no place, especially now, especially after...
Is this a better...
Free speech, and then there's hate speech. And there is no place, especially now, especially after what happened.
First of all, you dumb, crotchety, leather-faced, blonde cunt. Hate speech is free speech. You don't get to have an opinion on it, despite the fact that you are a literal spineless worm of a woman.
Charlie, in our society.
Do you see more law enforcement?
That is Stephen Miller's wife, by the way. This hideous fucking... What is it called when you have that underbite? Hideous underbite-looking ass fucking skank is Stephen Miller's wife, who, by the way, Elon Musk fucked.
Going after these groups who are using hate speech and putting cuffs on people, so we show them that some action is better than no action.
We will absolutely target you, go after you, if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
No, it's not. So what she is saying is they're going to start rounding people up for thought crime. For saying things that they don't like. And they're also don't fool yourself. She does not mean it when she says on both sides. There will never be somebody on the right arrested for hate speech. Or, I mean, for fuck's sake, you saw over the past 2 weeks the amount of terroristic threats that were made by these right-wing lunatics going, they killed Charlie Kirk. Well, when you say they, if you don't mean the CIA and you mean leftists, you're mentally deficient. If you are capable of saying the left wing of the United States of America killed Charlie Kirk, you're mentally deficient. Shut your mouth forever. Never fucking speak again. Do us all a favor. Never fucking breathe again. But yes, this crotchety demon cunt who just bends over a barrel and lets Donald Trump fuck her up her shitter quite literally is saying that if you practice any hate speech deemed by the state to be insulting, you're going to fucking jail. So I never want to hear one of these fucking free speech warriors speak ever again. You're all fucking useless. Never speak again. Now we're going to move on to the next story here, which is Dallas ICE facility shooting. So one of those Nazi Gestapo facilities where those fat, obese white supremacists put on masks to go round up brown people that they have deemed inferior, it got shot up. And unfortunately, the shooter was shooting at detainees, which makes the story a whole lot fucking worse. So this is what we have, some updates from it. At least one victim is dead and 2 others are injured after a shooting at U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement Office in Dallas, according to the authorities. At least 2 detainees are among the victims, according to 2 law enforcement officials with knowledge of the incident. The shooter is dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Well, at least there's some fucking good story to that, but... Oh, there's a new update. What's the newest update? That's it. No, there is no new update. Okay. But yeah, so most of the detainees were kept at the Dallas office holding rooms for less than a day. Detainees stayed about 14 hours. The person who opened fire, he was from an elevated position. Okay, so he's a sniper. Police responded to a sniper on the rooftop. We've got an officer on scene. We've got 1 officer en route. This is going to be a sniper on top of the roof. Yeah, meanwhile, not a problem with gun violence, by the way. There's no problem with gun violence. There's only a problem with mental illness. Despite the fact, and it's only on the left. It's only on the left, by the way. Yeah, because some mentally ill shooter on the left went and shot at ICE detainees. Fucking inbred zygotes. Anyway, let's move on to the next story, which is Kamala fucking Harris. Kamala. Oh, Kamala. First of all, let's start it. Let me be upfront with you. I voted for Kamala Harris. Very begrudgingly. In no fucking world did I want to vote for Kamala fucking Harris. But I was forced to, because my entire adult life, since the first time I was eligible to vote, it's been between some dumb fuck and Donald Trump. 2016, you want some dumb fuck or Donald Trump? 2020, you want some dumb fuck or Donald Trump? 2024, you want some dumb fuck or Donald Trump? And they have the audacity to call this a democracy? You want the dumb fuck or the dumb fuck? Ah! Get on your fucking knees and blow my cock. What are we talking about? This is not a democracy. This is a fucking joke. But Kamala fucking Harris had the audacity to call Donald Trump a communist dictator. You got the second half right, bitch. Yeah, he's a dictator. But in what fucking world is Donald Trump a communist? And you know what this is? Do you know what this is? I'll tell you what this is. This is the Democrat establishment shills like Kamala Harris who are so afraid of the real progressives, the left wing, the socialists, the Zoran Mamdanis, the Bernie Sanders, right? She's so afraid of them that even when she's punching up at the dictator and saying, guys, dictators are bad, she has to then go, but also socialism and communism is bad and that's not the way forward. Shut the fuck up. Do you know what your plan was when you were running, Kamala? To build a wall. Do you know what your plan was? To tack to the middle. Why don't we just go with Republican light? Well, dumb bitch, if you think these fucking Republican drinking guys are gonna choose Republican Light over Republican. It's like choosing a Bud Light over a Budweiser. Why would they do that? You're a woman. You're a black woman. Why would they choose you? Oh, God, check this shit out. I got the fucking clip. Check this shit. This shit fills me with unbridled motherfucking rage.
A tyrant.
Hold on, take it back.
A tyrant. We used to compare the strength of our democracy to communist dictators. That's what we're dealing with right now, Donald Trump. And these titans of industry are not speaking up.
Because they're benefiting. He's not a communist dictator. And these titans of industries, they're not speaking up. It's because he's a capitalist dictator. And why would they speak up when they profit from it? Just like you fucking do, bitch. You wrote a book. You wrote a book, 107 Days, how hard it was to be a black woman running for president. You did nothing as VP. You did nothing. And oh my God, I know what you're, I see right through you, Kamala. You never wanted to run for president. You never planned on running for president. That's why you guys put fucking Joe Biden on the stage to debate Donald Trump while his brain was leaking out of his ears. And every time he finished reading the teleprompter, he looked off to the side like he could see the fucking Grim Reaper waving at him going, I'm coming, Joe. You put him up there. He shit the bed. And then you went, okay, no, we can't do this. He'll never win. He'll never win. We have to pull out and put up Kamala. There was no primary. You never won any primary. Your goal was get Joe Biden reelected, and then you become the president by one way or another. You never have to run. First woman president, first black woman president, didn't even have to run. That was your fucking plan. And then, when it was hoisted upon you that you have 107 days to run for fucking president, you ran, quite possibly, the worst fucking campaign I've ever seen. Do you guys remember Kamala's brat? Kamala is brat? Yeah, because brat is gonna save America in the housing crisis. Yeah, because brat is gonna raise the federal minimum wage. Oh, yeah, because Kamala is brat is the solution. Oh, God damn, bro. God damn. All right, we got to move on. All right. Donald Trump did a 180. You're going to hear Donald Trump get asked a question, and then he's going to answer, and you're going to think that Donald Trump was replaced by a clone because of how fucking nutty it is. Think about how Donald Trump talks about the war in Ukraine. He blames Zelensky for starting the war. He said, why don't you say thank you? He said, Ukraine can't win this war. Russia's already taken. He's making deals with Putin. He gave Putin a red carpet in Alaska. Think about the way that Trump talks about the Ukraine war, and now watch this fucking clip.
Any questions?
Mr. President, do you think that NATO countries should shoot down Russian aircraft if they enter their airspace?
Yes, I do.
Based. I hate this motherfucker. I hate him, and I hate giving him credit. But absolutely. If the Russians end up in NATO airspace, shoot them down! He's putting his foot in the water. He's testing out the water. He's seeing your reaction. And if you do nothing, then he comes back. It's like a dog, bro. When a dog bites, it's got to know that you can't bite again.
Would you back them up? Would the United States help them out in some way?
Depends on the circumstance, but, we're very strong toward NATO. NATO has stepped up, when they went from 2% to 5%.
A 2% that they weren't paying to a 5% that they've already paid.
That was great unity. Trillions of dollars is being pumped in, and they're paying us for the weapons that we send. But that was a big day that nobody thought a thing like that could happen. You had countries that weren't paying 2%, and now they're all paying 5%. That's a lot of money. We gave the money to Ukraine to fight, and they've proven they're very brave. Look, they're fighting, and this is a war going on 3.5 years. and people thought it would be over quickly because Russia's a big military power. And
I'm telling you, I know what happened, bro. Zelensky was reminding him, Russia's big military power. They could not take Ukraine. You could have taken Ukraine in a week. They're small. They're small.
Ukraine, I tell you, they are good fighters. Got to hand it to them. They have a lot of courage, a lot of guts. It's pretty amazing. You know, this is a war that should have ended in 3 days, 4 days. People said it was going to be very quick, and you got to hand it to the Ukrainian soldiers and everybody involved.
Why is this guy's tie so comedically long? It's because it has to hide the imprint of his micro penis.
Still going on, and that's not a good thing for Russia. This was supposed to be quick, and so, you know, Russia doesn't look very distinguished, having taken 3.5 years now, right? So
Yeah,
3.5 years of very hard fighting, and it looks like.
So you see that, right? And then he posted something on Truth Social. Now this is like kind of long, but this is where my theory of he had a meeting with Zelensky and Zelensky essentially got him to believe that the war can be won. Here we go. After getting to know and fully understand the Ukraine-Russia military and economic situation, and after seeing the economic trouble it is causing Russia, I think Ukraine, with the support of the European Union, is in a position to fight and win all of Ukraine back in its original form. With time, patience, and financial support of Europe, and in particular NATO, the original borders from where this war started is very much an option. Why not? Russia has been fighting aimlessly for 3.5 years, a war that should have taken a real military power less than a week to win. This is the important part. This is where my theory comes from. This is the new line of attack that Zelensky and his cabinet have probably come up with, which is, Mr. President, you are a real military power. The United States of America and Russia have claimed to have been adversaries at the same military might for decades. You would have taken over my country in a week. You would have taken it over in days. Russia is no real military power. And this is where it starts to begin. Here's the transition. This is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. Again, paper tiger, guys. Donald Trump has never said the word paper tiger in his life. Somebody said that to him and he really liked it and now he's running with it. Don't forget, Donald Trump is autistic as fuck. You heard the way he goes, oh, they went from 2% to 5%, 2% that they didn't pay to 5% that they did. Donald Trump will hear a sentence that like flicks his like the autistic clit in his fucking brain and now he has to run with it. And I truly believe paper tiger is going to be something that he runs with and you're going to hear him say it more and more and more. Okay, this is not distinguishing Russia. In fact, it is very much making them look like a paper tiger. When the people living in Moscow and all of the great cities, towns, and districts all throughout Russia find out what is really going on with this war, the fact that it's almost impossible for them to get gasoline through the long lines that are being formed, and all of the other things that are taking place in their war economy, where most of their money is being spent on fighting Ukraine, which has a great spirit and only getting better, Ukraine would be able to take back their country in its original form and, who knows, maybe even go further than that. All right, that's where you lost me, Donnie. That's where you lost me. Ukraine gets their land back. Now that's a good de-escalation. You push the Ruskies back, you take your land back, you say, hey, look, 3.5 years, you got fuck all to show for it. You're saying you want the Ukrainians to keep going? That's escalate. If there was ever a legitimate reason for Vladimir Putin to use a nuclear weapon, it would be nuking his own soil. Because then it's his. Who's gonna fucking go, oh, how dare you go, it was my land. Ukraine invaded. It was my land. Putin and Russia are in big economic trouble, and this is the time for Ukraine to act. In any event, I wish both countries well. We will continue to supply weapons to NATO for NATO to do what they want with them. Good luck to all. Donald J. Trump, President of the United States of America. Okay, so Trump just gave NATO the green light to shoot down Russian jets, Russian drones. He essentially just said to Ukraine, we're going to keep on arming you and you're going to fucking win this thing. Essentially gave a big fuck you to Putin. And like, this is the shit where it's hard for me to even comprehend because That's so against his norm. He's usually a fucking Putin shill. It's very strange, and it makes me think that the only possible way this could have happened is if Zelensky stroked his fucking ego. All right, we're going to move on now to Fox News, which is a domestic terrorist organization, calling for the bombing and gassing of the United Nations because Donald Trump got stuck on an elevator. Check it out.
And then they sabotage the teleprompter.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an insurrection. And what we need to do is either leave the UN or we need to bomb it. It is in New York, though, right?
Yeah,
there could be some fallout there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right. Maybe gas it?
No.
Let's not do that.
Don't gas it. Okay. But we need to destroy it.
Okay, so here's the thing. I've said it before. Fox News is a domestic terrorist organization. Brian Kilmeade is a terrorist. That's Jesse Waters. He is a terrorist. He needs to be arrested and locked in prison and be given the highest punishment in this land. These people, they are not joking. But that's how the Trump regime operates, is they use memes and jokes and they pat you on the back and go, isn't that funny, bro? Alligator Alcatraz, isn't that funny? And then they'll hand you a pistol. Isn't that migrant getting rounded up funny? And then they'll load it back for you. Isn't that funny, bro? And then they'll straighten your arm for you. Isn't that funny? And then they'll pull the trigger and you will have killed a brown person. Isn't that funny? That's why we have like memes on the bullets, right? Despite the fact that, let's be fucking real, the CIA did that. But we got memes on the bullets because when you meme your way through fascism and you make merch about alligator out, when you meme your way through fascism, well, then the anti-fascists are going to meme their way back. When you make a joke about people's life, well, then we make a joke about people's death. You started the fire, and now you're going to get burned.
And then they sabotage the teleprompter.
So, yeah, so I know this is a short thing, but I mean, dude, Fox News is literally saying, let's just bomb the United Nations. And now we're going to move on to Trump having a little crash out because I don't know if you heard, Jiminy Cricket is back. Our boy, Jimmy Kimmel, who, listen, I've talked about this before. I think Jimmy Kimmel is fucking dog shit. I think his show sucks. I don't think he's funny, but he also should never have been removed from the air. Not only did he not really say anything controversial, he didn't really say anything. He just played a clip of Trump not giving a fuck about Charlie Kirk getting Charlie murked. You know, that's all it was. And Trump doesn't like when you hold up a mirror to him because he goes, oh, that's fucking hideous. What the fuck is that? And it's like, bro, it's your reflection. But let's read this tweet. I can't believe ABC fake news gave Jimmy Kimmel his job back. The White House was told by ABC that his show was canceled. Something happened between then and now because his audience is gone and his talent was never there. Why would they want someone back who does so poorly, who's not funny, and who puts the network in jeopardy by playing 99% positive Democrat garbage? He is yet another arm of the DNC, and, to the best of my knowledge, that would be a major illegal campaign contribution. I think we're going to test ABC out on this. Let's see how we do. Last time I went after them, they gave me $16 million. This one sounds even more lucrative. A true bunch of losers. Let Jimmy Kimmel rot in his bad ratings. Hey, MAGA, is this your big, strong man? Is this the big Donald Trump? Because the though that he wanted cancer is back on the air, and now he's mad because Jimmy Kimmel makes him feel bad, and we gotta arrest him. It's illegal. You know what? In fact, I'm gonna do ABD. I'm gonna take your money because I'm Donald Trump, and I love to do people. Yo, MAGA, you're all bootlicking inferior fucking dog people. You are spineless supine jellies. Shut the fuck up and go crawl back under the trailer park you crawled out of, you fucking redneck. Moving on. Donald Trump says Tylenol causes autism. Here's a fact. That's incorrect. That's a fact. Suck my dick if you disagree. You're stupid and wrong. Trump's Tylenol announcement incurs furious backlash. Quote, this is yet more utter rubbish. Medical professionals, pregnant people, and readers with relationship to autism are furious about Monday's announcement from the Trump regime involving Tylenol and its alleged connection to autism. Thank you for the $5. So, let me explain something to you. Who owns Tylenol? Johnson & Johnson. Haven't the Republicans been going crazy saying the Johnson & Johnson vaccine was implanting a chip in your arm? Isn't Tylenol actually just the brand name, and the chemical is called acetaminophen? So why are you saying Tylenol causes autism instead of acetaminophen? Maybe it's because RFK Jr. and Dr. Oz sell their own version of acetaminophen that isn't Tylenol. Maybe it's because you fucking snake oil salesman grifter pieces of shit in my Oval Office have decided that you want to fuck with the competition by claiming it causes autism. That's interesting. I don't know, Chris, I'm a little fucked up. My mom took Tylenol a lot when she was pregnant. That's not because of the Tylenol. That's because your mother was shooting back shots of tequila. You didn't like that now, did you? You've got fetal alcohol syndrome. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, listen. There's not much I can say on this other than it's not true. Oh, look at this quote. Somebody says Tylenol can ease the pain of Epstein. That's hilarious, but it's not true. There has never been a conclusive study that proves that Tylenol causes autism. There's been like 44 studies. Almost all of them have come back inconclusive, and not one of them has been able to prove a correlation or a causation between Tylenol and autistic kids. And then also these fucking idiots, they're like, well, Chris, we have more autistic people than we did in the 1950s. Yeah, well, you know what they would have called an autistic person in the 1950s? He's a little special. He's a little foofy. He's a little different. Diagnostics have gotten better, you dumb fuck. Jesus. Anyway, that's all I got for you today. Long video, lot to talk about, crazy fucking day. Thank you for tuning in. If you're here live, you stay. We got to make some thumbnails. If you're watching this pre-recorded, thank you very much for 103,000 subs. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Costs you nothing, and it helps me immensely. And then do everything you got to do to support this channel financially. This is real independent media. This channel is funded by you. And without you, we got nothing. So thank you very much. The First Amendment is under attack, and we got to bolster each other up. I'm gonna give you a couple of shout outs. Follow Secular Talk. That's Kyle Kalinske. Follow Adam Mockler and Luke Beasley. I like those three. They got good content. Go check them out. Have a good one. Stay up, and do me one last favor. Click that video over there. It's a banger. And I know bangers.